everybody and welcome. So today's project is going to be my second 4th of July themed collar. I did put out one, my first one last week, and then this will be my second one. I tried this year to put out any holiday collar the month prior to the holiday, so if you were interested you can go and buy the supplies that you needed to make the collar and be able to use it that month of the holiday. That was my goal. I know I still have a couple more holidays coming this year, but that's what I've been trying to do so far. And this collar will also be an adjustable collar. So I will be using a Thane adapter on this collar. If you're not familiar with a Thane adapter or any adapter for a collar, I will leave a link below where I show you guys how you can make your own. You can use leather. Leather looks very sharp on a collar, but the reason why I like Thane just a little bit better is because, first of all, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can match that color up to your collar, and it's super strong and very easy to clean. So I do like the Thane a little bit better, but again, leather looks very good on a collar. So I will leave that link below if you are interested in learning how to do that. So for this collar, I am going to be using some star beads, and these beads are for paracords. They got the large hole, and they're not like an intense gold. They're like a very pale gold, if that makes sense. Yeah, they're just a pale gold. So I'm going to be using the star beads. And for the cord colors that I'm going to be using, so I am using Imperil Red, and that is what my double cow's hitch is hooked up to. So if you're not familiar with a double cow's hitch, again, I will have another video below for that. I show you guys how to do a double cow's hitch either on your rings that you're using for an adjustable collar, or if you're using a quick release buckle, I show you again how to do it on those. I also show you guys how to hook it up to your jig if you're not familiar with that. Today I'm using 3/4 of an inch of a square ring. I'm using two, one for the top and then one for the bottom. So for the colors, so again for the double cow's hitch, I'm using 550 Imperil Red. I'm using another 550 Imperil Red cord, as well as a blue silver cord, which is also 550, and a midnight blue in 550, and then 275 in the white. The first cord that I'm going to be adding is the other Imperil Red cord, and what I want to do is I'm going to loosen up my two cow's hitches just a little bit. I am using a paracord needle. If you don't have one, that's quite alright. You can just melt the end a little bit and have that hard edge to be able to push through. What I'm going to do here is I want to go in between both of my cow's hitches. So I'm going to just go right in between both of those cow's hitches, just like that. I'm going to pull this to the other side and to the middle of the cord. The next cord that I'm going to add is the blue and silver cord, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did with the Imperil Red. I'm just going to go right through those two cow's hitches, just like that. Pull it to the other side and to the middle of the cord. The next cord that I'm going to add is the midnight blue, and what I want to do with this one is that I want to go underneath these two middle stitches. So I'm going to go in between this cow's hitch. I'm going to go towards the left and go underneath these two stitches and then come up the second cow's hitch. So I'm going to go in between the first one, underneath the two stitches to the left, and come up that second cow's hitch to the left. Pull this through and bring the middle to the top. And for the last cord, which is going to be your 275 in the white, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did with the midnight blue, I'm going to go in between that first cow's hitch, go underneath the 2 stitches, and come up the second cow's hitch. So go in between the first one, underneath the 2 cow's hitches to the left, and go up that second cow's hitch, and bring that also to the middle. Okay, so I have all of my cords in the middle at the top of my work. I double checked my measurements just to make sure nothing moved around, and I also rolled up the ends of most of my cord. So I rolled up my ends for all of the 550 cord. The 275 white cord I left unrolled, and that's because I will be putting on my beads, so it's just best to keep them unrolled. Because I'm working with 2 Imperil Red cords, I decided to roll up one a little bit smaller than the other, and that's just to help me grab the correct cord when I am weaving. So you want to roll up both sides the same. So this cord is the smaller bundle is what's coming out of my cow's hitch that I hooked everything up with. So that's the smaller bundle, and then the larger bundle is the one that I actually put through the cow's hitch in the very beginning. For my beads, I've decided that I'm just going to go 3 down and put on my first bead, and then I'm going to do, I'd like to do every 3 weaves and put on a bead. With the larger beads, sometimes it can get a little bit too much if you do like every weave, or every other weave can be a little bit too much. And I can show you this collar right here is Watcher's bead collar, and these beads were just about the same size. I mean, they're a decent size compared to it. So this collar was every other weave, and I think that it would have been best if I would have done like every 3 weaves to put a bead on. So that's what I'm going to do with this particular collar, because the beads are so big. Don't get me wrong, I really like his bead collar. I think it's super cute, but I just think that it was a little bit much. So like I said, I'll go 3 down, I'll put on my first bead, and then I'll go 3 more down and I'll put on the next bead. So once you got all that done, we can get started, and I'm going to start on my right side with my smaller bundle of red, and I'm going to go right up the middle of my work right here, right up the middle, and then over that long cord on my left. Then I'm going to take my cord on my left side now, my smaller bundle, and I'm going to go underneath the cord that I just worked, and then I'm going to go right up the middle and then over that second elongated cord, which is now on my right side, and I have a little triangle. Next, I'm going to take my larger bundle of red, and I'm going to go underneath all of my work, and I'm going to come right up the middle. So I'm going to go underneath all my work and right up the middle. And then I have this loop on my right side, and I'm going to go down that loop. Now I'm going to take my cord of the red, the longer bundle on my left, and I'm going to go underneath all my work again and then come right up the middle. So I'm going to go underneath, right up the middle. And then I have this loop right here that I made on my left side. I'm going to go down that loop. You're going to find these 2 horizontal red cords in the middle, and you're going to pick them up, and it's directly in the middle. Now I'm going to take my blue silver, and what I want to do with this cord on my right side is I'm going to go around these 2 horizontal cords. So I'm going to go over and around and right out the right side. So go over and around and out the right. Next, I'm going to take the blue silver that is on my left side, and I'm going to go over and around those two horizontal cords, and I'm going to come out the left side. Let's go over and around and out the left. Next, I'm going to take my midnight blue on my right side, and I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did with the blue silver. I'm just going to go around those two horizontal pieces and come out the right. So go over and around and out the right. And now I'm going to take the one on the left, and I'm going to go over and around and out the left. So go over and around those two horizontal pieces and out to the left. And for the 275 chord, I'm just going to take the one on the right, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go over and around and out the right. So over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left now, and you can go over and around and out the left. Over and around and out the left. And now you can tighten it up. Once you have that weave nice and tight, you can start that weave from the beginning again. So I'm going to start on my right side with my smaller bundle of red, and I'm just going to go right up the middle and then over that cord that is on my left. Take the smaller bundle of red on your left side and go underneath the cord that you just worked, right up the middle again, and then over that second cord that is now on your right. Next, you're going to take your larger bundle of red on your right side, and you're going to go underneath your work and right up the middle again. And then you have this loop that you made on your right side. You're going to go down that loop. Take the one on the left side now. You're going to go underneath your work, right up the middle again. You have this loop on your left side. You're going to go down that loop. You're going to find those two horizontal pieces of red in the middle. You can pick up on them. You're going to take your blue silver on your right side. You're going to go over those two horizontal pieces and then out the right. So go over and around and out your right. Take your blue silver on your left. You're going to go over and around and out your left side. So go over and around and out the left. Take your midnight blue on your right side, and you're going to go over those two horizontal pieces and out your right. So go over and around and out your right. Take the one on the left. You're going to go over those two horizontal pieces and then out your left. So go over and around and out your left. And now for your 275 chords, you're going to go with the right one over those two horizontal chords and around and out your right. Take your one on your left now, go over those two horizontal pieces, around and out your left. And then you can tighten it up. Okay, so we have it tightened, and I'm going to do the weave all over again. So I'll start on my right side, and I'm going to go with my smaller bundle of red right up the middle and then over that cord on my left. Take your smaller bundle of red and go underneath the cord that you just worked, right up the middle and then over that cord on your right. Next, you're going to take your larger bundle of red, and you're going to go underneath your work, right up the middle, and then down that loop on your right side. Take the one on the left now, go underneath your work, right up the middle, and down this loop on your left side. Next, you're going to take your blue silver and find those two horizontal pieces. You're going to take the blue silver on the right, and you're going to go over and around those two horizontal pieces, and then out the right. Take the one on the left now. You're going to go over those two horizontal pieces, but you're going to come out the left. So go over and around and out the left. So for the midnight blue, what we're going to be doing something different here. Bear with me, I'm trying to explain this the best I can. So I find it when I'm using a larger bead for the middle part of my collar, that I keep whatever cord is out on the outer side of the cord that I'm placing the bead on, which would be the midnight blue, to keep that a little bit further away. So if you take your midnight blue now and you go over and around your two horizontal cords, but you come up the middle, you'll have a little bit of extra space for that bead to sit nicely on your collar. Hoping that made sense. So I'm going to take my midnight blue now on my right side, and I'm going to go over and around, but I'm going to come right up the middle, and it will change the look of the collar from the way it looks so far. The design will be a little bit different. So I'm going to go over and around and right up the middle. I'm going to do the same on the left side now. I'm going to go over and around and come right up the middle with the left cord. So I'm going to go over and around and up the left cord. And now I'm going to put on one of my beads. So I have my bead on now, and I really want to make sure that none of these cords of the white got crisscrossed at all. And you're going to do the same weave that you have been doing with the white. So you're going to take the right cord, you're going to go over those two horizontal cords with the right cord and around them, and bring it out the right. And you're going to take the one that is on your left now, and you're going to go around and out the left. So just go around those and out the left. And then you can tighten it up. Okay, once you have it tightened, we can start the weave all over again. When you get to the midnight blue, you're going to just revert back to what you did in the very beginning. The only time that you will be taking it to the middle is where you are placing your bead on. So I'm going to start again, and I'll start on my right side. I'm going to take the smaller bundle of red, and I'm going to go right up the middle and then over. Take the one on the left now, and I'm going to go underneath that cord that I just worked, right up the middle and then over. And then your triangle. Next, I'm going to take the larger bundle of red. I'm going to go underneath all of my work, right up the middle. And I'm going to go down that loop on my right. Take the one on the left now, go underneath, right up the middle, and down that loop on your left. Now here are my 2 horizontal pieces, and I'm going to take my blue silver cord on my right side. I'm going to go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left. Next, I'm going to take my midnight blue, and like I said, I'm going to go back to what I was doing in the beginning. So I'm going to go over and around and then out the right. So over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around, and now back to out the left. Now I'm going to take my white on my right side. I'm going to go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left now, go over and around and out the left. And then you can tighten it up. So I decided to go down 2 weaves, and I'm at my 3rd weave from my first star. And I really want to show you guys how to do that again. So I did all the beginnings of the weave, and I'm at the spot where I am going to do the midnight blue again. So as I said before, we have been going out the right. But when you get to the point where you're going to put your star on, you want to take that cord, that midnight blue, and you want to actually go over and around those 2 horizontal cords, but you want to come up the middle to make a larger spot for your bead to sit nicely on. So I'm going to take my midnight blue on my left, I'm going to take my midnight blue on my right, and I'm going to go over and around those 2 horizontal pieces, so over and around, but I'm going to come straight up the middle. Take the one on the left now, you're going to go over and around and then straight up the middle. So go over and around and straight up the middle. And now you're going to put on your bead. So I got my bead on now, and I'm going to put it to the top. And make sure that your cords aren't crisscrossed at all. And I'm going to take the one that is on my right side now of the white, and I'm going to go around those 2 horizontal pieces again, and then I'm going to go out the right. I'm going to take the one next on my left, and I'm going to go around those 2 horizontal pieces, and then I'm going to go out the left. So over and around, out the right, over and around and out the left. And then you can tighten it up. Okay, so what I was trying to explain, the way the bead sits on the collar, is you see how you have this weave coming, it goes in, and then it goes in again, because the cord is coming out the right side. It's pushing that cord, that stitch right there, to go in. So the first 2 I did with the midnight blue, I took the cord to the right, so it pushed those 2 stitches to go in. When you go up the middle, it creates this stitch right here that goes, it's on the outer side. So if your bead is large like this, I think it sits nicely on that area, because this one stitch on both sides, it's just giving it a little bit of extra room to have its points stick out. You can see here how the stitch right here, this is the stitch that's going in, and you can see where your point is, and that point would have been over that stitch. So that would have caused the bead to stick up a little bit. So that's why I like to do that inside weave on where I'm putting the beads on. And sometimes the beads are just going to stick out. There's not much you can do about it. But a lot of times if you do this particular inside going up the middle stitch, it will help with the bead to sit better. So for all the stars that I put on, that particular weave, that one weave that you're putting the star on, I'm gonna bring up the midnight cord to the middle. But that's the only time I'm gonna do that. So all the other times, the midnight blue is gonna come to the right or the left. I'm hoping this makes sense. And I am going to continue doing this particular pattern all the way down. Now I'm always going to go 3 to the 3rd weave, and I'll put my star on that 3rd weave. So you have 2 full stitches, or sorry, 2 full weaves with no beads on them, and then that 3rd one, that's where you're going to put your bead on. So again, I will work on this collar until I am at the end, show you guys how I do my tie off, and also show you guys what it looks like with the Thane on it. Okay, so I'm at the end of my collar, took it off the jig, and now we can sew in or weave in these top cords. And I already got my paracord needle ready to go. So I'm going to be starting with the blue and silver on my right side, and you see you have a gap between your work right here and your 2 cow's hitches. You're going to go right in that gap, and you're going to also do the other cord on the opposite side, and the 2 midnight blues will go through that same gap. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take your white 275 cord, and you have a small hole in between the 2 cow's hitches. You're going to go through that hole with both of the 275 white cords. Once you have all those cords going through from the front of the collar to the back, we can start to cut and burn. So I am going to be cutting about 1/4 of the way up. I'm going to start on my sides, and I have terrible scissors right now, I do apologize, but I'm going to cut about 1/4 of the way up. Next I'm going to burn one at a time, and then once it's melted on the top, I'm going to squish that down. So I'm going to start with this top one. Going to melt it, and take your butter knife and squish that down. Do the same for the other. After you've gotten both sides done, you can start on your cords that are on the bottom of the collar. I like to start from my bottom to my top, so these are the ones that are at the bottom, which are the midnight blue. I will cut and burn these the same way I did the 2 sides, and once I finished these 2, I will work on the next 2, and so on. I do like to cut and burn one at a time. You're able to hold your other cords out of the way when you do cut and burn them one at a time. So I'm going to start with my midnight blue, and I'm going to fray it out. burn this one lightly. And then squish this down. And like I said, I'll do the next midnight, then I'll do the blue and silver, and then I will do the white. Alright guys, so once you have your end all melted and squashed down, you can put your adapter on if you'd like and use the collar as is. I myself like to put on a little bit of clear non-foaming Gorilla Glue right on my ends, and that is just to give it a little extra security. So again, I use clear non-foaming Gorilla Glue. It is waterproof, so if your dog gets it wet, it ain't gonna come off. And this one was a tough one. There we go. My glue doesn't want to work with me today. So I'm going to rub that all around the ends that I just melted, and just like that, and let that dry. Once it's dry, I will put on my Thane Adapter for you guys to see what it looks like when it's finished.